Hughes Investigates and Red Zeppelin YouTube channels. Commented on my channel today, and I'm going to get everybody up to date on what's going on here. I want to point out that another channel I'm referring to as Redacted demanded that I not post anything or whatever, and we're not going to communicate anymore because I do not want this person infuriated, and also the person threatened legal action. I have a video about it. Look on my channel if you want to find it. Red Zeppelin sort of directed to me, not really directly, but directed me as a citation on one of his videos to Hughes Investigates long-ass video where a caller called in named Ryan or Brian and talked to Hughes about the Delphi murders. And Red Zeppelin sort of insinuated or directly said, depending on who you're talking to, that he matched that person calling in to Railroading 101, a video that only Red Zeppelin seems to have, and to a video or many videos, depending on which one you're looking at, that was on a channel that I call Redacted that has erased everything other than one video now because of this turmoil. And Red Zeppelin gave the upload date, title of the video, and timestamp on Hughes Investigates wrong, all three parts, and still kept posting that wrong answer. It's like, no, that's the wrong name of the video, the wrong time and date stamp it was uploaded, the wrong time in the video. Anyway, I used a transcript function to find Ryan and or Brian, it was Ryan, at least in the transcript, and did a video on its contents, and that the guy on the phone seems to have no link to Bridge Guy and doesn't seem to link to the Railroading 101 video that's on on Red Zeppelin's channel, or to the channel I call Redacted that had lots of videos at the time that I could do the comparison to. And I had just finished making a video explaining that you can take all the audio samples and they don't match the guy on the phone, and they don't seem to match, but they kind of match the guy in the Railroading 101, which means the guy in the Railroading 101 might actually be him and does look a lot like him. But the video quality in one of the images on the Redacted channel is so low I can't really confirm it. So we can't say positively it's the same person. And again, I asked Red Zeppelin, the Railroading 101 video, where'd you get it from? Now, I'm sure he's corrected this by now and has put it in all the copies of the video. But he had 2 different years for the Railroading 101 video. Meanwhile, the Redacted channel hadn't posted in a very long time. It was obviously a single-shot channel, had some really useful data on it, and including videos that made it to where I could prove this is probably not the same guy that was on the phone with Hughes Investigates. And then he goes through and erases all the videos and makes them unavailable and says, don't talk about me anymore. So I can't. So he's on his own and I can't help him. And again, I received essentially a threat of legal action. Anyway, the guy on the phone doesn't have any link to Bridge Guy because there isn't one. And I didn't understand exactly why Red Zeppelin was saying these things. Now, Red Zeppelin's channel has, by his own statement, 35 videos, quote-unquote, exposing some theory he has concerning the Railroading 101 video that he doesn't have a citation for, the Redacted channel, which now no longer has any content on it, except for one video, and the caller onto Hughes Investigates, and this is all meaning something, but he's done 35 videos on this subject matter, he says. And other people have told me he comes right out and threatens or people with having the cops show up, which I found proof of, and saying that a person's definitely the murderer unless they prove themselves innocent, which is not how it works. And as a felony, depending on how you do this, hint, hint, stop doing it. Anyway, I also did a video, another one, that I say Ryan's voice from Ohio doesn't match Bridge Guy, Railroading 101 video, or the now Redacted channel, because it doesn't. Over the phone, it gets compressed to 3,000 cycles per second maximum bandwidth, and then it gets dynamically compressed through compounding, which also makes it very difficult. You can see the stair steps in the audio if you get a clean audio. And this gets compressed again for quality purposes by the algorithm on YouTube and maybe the software Hughes was using for recording for his streams. Who knows? It's called audio sweetening, and it's done by YouTube all the time for voice. Makes it easier to hear, but it also alters the data. This is not how you do forensic analysis. Hughes Investigates commented today as well. This guy's deletes comments that factually disproves things he says. I guess, now, on the video, is he addressing the subject matter of the video? No, I don't think so. Is he addressing me and saying I delete comments if they contradict what I'm saying? I think that's what he's saying. I set all the comments to approve, which means your comments don't show up until I see them. I get to read them first. Because people post spam. Lately, it's porn spam that leads to something that steals your credit cards. I'm not kidding. And YouTube keeps letting the people post this. So just flag it and go on. Next, and if I didn't filter it, it would get posted and one of you might click it. Because it's introduced it not as a porn site. It's introduced as all sorts of things to see what people click on. And then when you click on it, it puts up a porn site of a girl doing something. And at that point, it tries to break into your computer and may succeed. So that's going to be deleted from the channel. People contradicting me is the only reason I have just answering questions with WebTech. I don't delete the comments unless they threaten somebody or post something that is over the top, what I call the sociopath tax. Like you saying, this guy deletes comments, guys, this guy deletes comments that factually disprove things he says, and he's a cross-dressing, trans-dimensional gerbil humper. Well, at that point, I might delete it because, well, no, I obviously would just feature it. But if you did something like that, or if you threatened to hurt somebody, I'd delete your comment. I'd archive it so somebody could read it. That's what the archives are for. That's also so that if you update your comment later by editing, they can see that you changed your answer. Or maybe you decide instead of posting this, you'd actually address what the damn video is about, Gray. Next, if anybody's curious, Hughes Investigates does call-ins, and he just reports other people's assertions and statements and what the news is most of the time. Some of the time he might say something I don't agree with, but it's not enough content for me to actually review. And I only reviewed genuinely maybe 5 minutes of a video for that. That has nothing to do with him. It's mostly what they were talking about, the subject matter. I don't care about Hughes. He doesn't provide any links in the description to go anywhere other than what looks like him doing GoFundMes or something. I don't know what it is. Doesn't matter. He doesn't provide enough links to his sources to make it consistently a useful website, or channel. Red Zeppelin also posted to the Redacted channel's one remaining video and told him that he called the cops on him and demands that he prove he's innocent. And I have an archive of that below in the description. Next, Red Zeppelin also posted this to me. Now, I've rearranged this because I want this to be in a logical order, covering subjects that are worth discussing. It's the same content, but I'm not letting it be harem scarum. I do not compare the voice in the recording of the man on the bridge to anyone. I do not use that voice for all the reasons that you present, reasons that have been known and discussed for years. You are aware that nothing in my theory is based on the recording. Nothing. Any criticism of the recorded voice of the man on the bridge is not applicable to my theory, except where you make the connection that the guy calling into Hughes must be a suspect for some reason, and we're going to get that last. But again, the only thing left is voice, and I mentioned in the video, it's not the bridge guy, because the bridge guy audio recording is so corrupted we can't use it really, and I didn't mention it, but I guess I have to say it overtly, a compounded, compressed, recompressed, decompressed, and reprocessed and re-encoded audio recording from a phone call from somebody across country to Hughes Investigates isn't evidence either, because it's not a voice recording that's clean. It's a computer misinterpretation of it. I mean, really, at this point, when you talk on the phone, everyone knows that you don't sound the same on the phone as you do in person. Confirmation bias is what has continued to block the investigation from building a case on observation and not guesses. But Red Zeppelin may be guilty of this. By the way, coincidental, Hughes gets accused of deleting comments. I don't know. Let's go on. Now let's read this guy's tour de force of a assertion that he didn't put in any of the videos he told me to go look at. This may be the only time Red Zeppelin is telling you what his theory is in a short way. And yes, I had to edit it to make it readable. Do compare, or are you saying I do compare? Do compare the voice of Ryan from Ohio, which is the call-in. Again, it's compounded and compressed in the call-in show, to the voice of Ryan in his video called Railroading 101. Okay, again, you didn't provide a source for it, so we don't know that it's anybody else. It looks a hell of a lot like the guy on the redacted channel. I don't know about the voice, again, because we're not doing that yet. We have to get the step 0. You're saying it's audio. But, again, you didn't provide a source for Railroading 101. I'm pretty sure it's the same guy, but then again, I can't prove it because the video quality is so crappy for the photo of the guy on the Railroading, well, not on the redacted channel. Anyway, do compare the voice of Ryan in the redacted videos to the voice of Ryan from Ohio. I don't know why, but okay. And again, you can't. The phone recording is out. It's not clean enough. It's not comparable. If you were comparing phone call to phone call, okay. And yeah, I did a video, had it all on the screen, and I deleted it because the guy on the channel, now redacted, doesn't want me to do any more videos on this. Again, if you're watching Mr. Redacted, he shall, Mr. Voldemort, I'm discussing people's comments on my channel about the subject and avoiding mentioning you. Please don't send the cops. Next, Red Zeppelin. You're currently guilty of a felony, but I'm not telling you which one. Next, one question you might ask Ryan, which one? You're claiming all 3 of them now are named Ryan, which may be true, but I don't know. Please tell me why you lied to Gray Hughes. How? About something so simple, what is it, as where you are from. Where a person grew up may not be where they are right now, and phones can have an area code associated with them that has nothing to do with any of those. You're not assigned an area code at birth that you have to keep using for your phone, although that's the next step in the evil of the world. Why are you using an area code that isn't Indiana? Or are you assuming Gray Hughes Investigates, Instigates, Insinuates here simply read it off of a caller ID or a call-in code? Ryan lied to Gray Hughes about something as simple as where he's from. Why is he using an area code that isn't Indiana? Maybe he moved, you dumb fuck. Which is his birthplace and his current home or his home? Why are you lying about your birthplace and home? Why are you using an non-Indiana area code? Gray Hughes said he's from Ohio. Maybe he just said, Maybe he was sitting there at the time. How many forms of tracking are done on a phone? If you buy a phone in New York, it'll normally be assigned a New York phone number. But it can be used pretty much everywhere on the planet almost, depending on what you've got. I worked at Nextel's subsection called Boost Mobile. People would call in, I'm in Los Angeles, I need a New York number to make it local to New York. Either they're spoofing their location, which may be what you're assuming here. I'm not even sure where you're going. You're not being explicit here, just like you're not telling us where you got the Railroading 101 video from. But people do that if you're not aware of it, depending on how your carrier works. If you call everybody in New York, but you're living in Los Angeles, this will reduce your rates, or it may make it worse because you're doing roaming charges. There's this transition point where it was kind of a toss-up. People get phones also by just buying them in another state and then just not changing the area code because it doesn't matter anymore. Or maybe, again, these aren't the same Ryans you're looking for. I would do a Saving Private Ryan joke, but you all did it at this point. Again, it could be Ryan, Brian, whatever. Red Zeppelin, you're running with a set of assumptions. Let me read your quote. What was it? Confirmation bias and assumptions are what continue to block any kind of progress here. You can go to a phone shop. Ask them, can I get a phone with an area code outside of this area code so I have a less cost for calling people only in that area? Does that work, and on what systems? And they'll tell you an answer. Depending on where you are, it will or will not affect things. Or maybe the guy just moved. Well, he's lying, therefore he must be the murderer. What the fuck? Now that we know what his theories are, can any of you explain to me why the fuck I even listen to this shit? Anyway, I might or might not erase his comments on the channel. As for Gray Hughes, would you mind addressing the subject matter of the video in your comments? And yes, they'll be posted. And no, I don't delete people just because they disagree with me, or I'd have nothing to do a video on. People telling me I'm a fucking idiot is the only reason I have a channel most of the time. Seriously. You're my material, Gray. And Red Zeppelin, you really do need to change what you're doing. You are now committing. I mean, this is really felony material. I'm not explaining it. Get a goddamn lawyer. Bye. Thanks for watching. Good luck to all of you, including me.